Hey everybody, welcome back to Breakfast with Bob from beautiful Oceanside, our host hotel, Mission Pacific. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by MasterSpas as fuels go longer. HOKA Let's Fly, Form Smart Swim Goggles, Zoot Sports, the original triathlon brand, Premium Plus Sports, and of course our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guest we just met like 5 minutes ago, Sarah Jane Walker from South Africa, a 2024 Olympic hopeful. How are you doing, Sarah Jane?
I'm good, thanks, Bob. Nice to meet you. And
so nice to meet you. What a treat. You got your first taste of a French toast donut.
Oh, it's delicious, as it says on the box.
If you are in Oceanside, you need to go to Parlor for the best donuts on the planet. That was amazing. And it's nice when you can have a donut knowing you're not racing.
I know, I don't have to worry about anything, so I'm just here to support.
So growing up in South Africa, swimming.
Yep.
And did that lead to you thinking about trying to make the Olympic team in swimming?
Sort of. It always had been like in the back of my mind, and I think as a swimmer, like I peaked quite early. I think
like 12.
Literally 12 to 16. I was, I was very good and hopeful, and I hadn't PB'd in like 3 years.
Yes.
And that's really demotivating. And
yes.
I think I, take my hat off to swimmers because to carry on, and you're looking for minimal gains all the time,
right?
And
hundreds of seconds,
and that's an achievement in itself. And I just sort of
black line. It
gets
a little dull.
Yeah. I mean, I still love being in the water and stuff,
right.
But I just sort of lost the love for competing in a pool,
right?
And didn't sort of get that I didn't want to.
Had you done much open water up until?
No. None at all. And I mean, I grew up right by the sea.
Yes.
So always
you knew where it was
and stuff. Yeah. And, yeah.
It's over there. Yeah. They got waves and stuff.
Did a little bit of body surfing and stuff like that. But no racing open water.
So Vicky Holland changed a lot of that for you.
Yeah, she did.
What happened? She come over to train?
Yeah, she after 2016 moved down to Bath, and they sort of set up a new centre down there.
Yeah.
And fortunately for me, she was swimming with the swimmers,
right.
And I was still swimming, and I was sort of just about to quit swimming, and she said to me, why don't you come and try triathlon? And her coach at the time her coach Reese,
yes.
Husband, also just said, yeah, come along, try some sessions, see if you like it. And they let me borrow one of her bikes for a bit, and the rest is history. Here we are.
That is so funny. So I bet it had to be so much fun to be able to ride a bike and run and talk to people and not just be looking at a black line.
Yeah.
Your biggest weeks when you were swimming, what type of swimming mileage were you doing?
Oh, I'm not too sure my mileage really, but I swam double days every day.
Yes.
Except for a Saturday and Sunday.
Wow. So probably what, 8,000 to 10,000 meters?
Yeah. We swam maybe about 6K a set.
So 12,000 a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's mind-numbing.
Yeah, I mean, in South Africa it was nice because we had sun.
Right.
And we were
outdoors
and stuff. So, and when you're at school, it's like all your friends are there and stuff and you don't mind. And
yes.
I did find it tough, moving to the UK and all of a sudden it's indoors.
Yes.
And it's cold and,
you don't really want to do it.
Yeah.
But being able to ride a bike and not be, like I said, looking at the black line and it's different, right?
Yeah, it's different.
You're meeting new people,
Yeah.
you're going to new places. Yeah. And how quickly did you progress to the point where you started thinking, maybe I should become a pro at this?
I think I progressed quite quickly. We noticed pretty quickly that I was strong on the bike.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously with ITU, it's about getting bike handling and being
yes.
good at that. I was fortunate enough to be with Vix, who's
yes.
one of the best bike handlers in the world, in my opinion. And I just followed her wheel and hope I didn't fall off. and that came on really quickly. And then the run came on really quickly as well. But unfortunately, I think as a swimmer, I just constantly kept getting niggles.
Injuries.
And it was just sort of like an experiment with how much mileage can I do. And, we'd get to, I don't know, whatever, 50K a week, say, and I'd go, okay, we can push to 55. And then I'd get injured.
Yes.
And, I don't really I've never got niggles. I've got catastrophic injuries each time. And it's been
like stress fractures and things like that?
Yeah, so I've had 2 stressies and a bone bruise all since 2018,
Yes.
really, which I'd say is quite a bit.
Yeah.
One was in the neck of my femur, which
that's not good.
I was out for a whole year. I've recently just come back from a bone bruise in my ankle.
So, you know what's hard is as a swimmer, 'cause I remember we had one of the legends of the sport, this guy Mark Allen. He was a swimmer, and when he moved over to triathlon, he kept getting injured. And one of the problems was from running, and one of the problems was because of the engine that you've developed from swimming. It's not like you're coming back from a running injury and running slower, because you've still got that high octane, and you come back and you're running just as fast as you were before. Because while you can't run, you're swimming more.
Yeah.
You come back and you injure yourself again.
Yeah.
So it's hard to come back slowly when you've got that huge background.
Definitely, and I think as well, like, it's hard to come back slowly when everyone's just progressing at such a quick rate.
Yes.
And you just see it all the time as well, and you don't want to get left behind. And it's and also, I've been fortunate training with Vix, and she's been in the sport for a long time, so she's always been there to guide me through coming back from an injury and stuff like that. And I just think I've had a good sort of bubble around me coming into the sport, and
So when you're traveling to events with George,
Yes.
and you guys are going to Memphis or whatever race you're going to, and he's swimming in the pool and you're swimming in the pool, any of the pro women be like, "Oh, who's that?" Because you're swimming probably faster than they are.
Yeah, I've had a few people be a little bit scared, but
Then you're like, "I'm not racing."
Yeah,
They're
fortunately
like,
for them, I don't do 70.3 yet, so it's always nice getting
that is very cool. And so what was your first? Did you start at racing age group and then move to pro, or did you go pro right away?
No, I went pro right away. I remember my first pro race was an elite South African champs in 2019, and I remember I went from leading the swim, lapped a girl out on the bike, and then I walked the run because I got terrible stitches and I came last. And it was the worst
I led the swim, so basically you got passed by everybody in the field.
Yeah, and I had people on the side of at the race, like clapping their hands, and I was like, this isn't how I run. I'm really struggling.
People are like, "You can do it."
Yes, and it's like, yes.
I'm a pro.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah.
But you learn from that.
Yeah. Oh, you learn from every single race, good or bad.
Yes.
I remember, I come away from every single race at the moment, and I'm like, oh, I've learned so much, and I take that into the next race.
Yes.
And it's just one big learning curve, to be honest, for me.
So the African Championships.
Yeah.
Was that the same race?
No.
Different one.
So
but you won it.
Yes, I won that
in 2022.
Yeah.
So you're going from 2019, where you're last,
and
passed by everybody in the field,
to
winning a couple years later.
Yeah.
That has to be pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really cool, and I was really proud of how I won the race.
Yes.
I swam off the front.
Yes.
And I biked by myself, so it was in this Olympic distance.
Yeah.
And I knew there was a girl behind me who was a really good runner, and at the time I just crashed my bike, so I hadn't been riding running for a couple of weeks. So I knew I had to hold this girl off, and I managed to hold her off just by 10 seconds in the end.
But you did.
But I did, and it's tough, like being by yourself the whole day when you are so used to drafting. Like I always take my hat off to the 70.3, the non-drafting guys, because you are just by yourself the whole time.
Right. But you were by yourself.
And I was by myself, and I actually enjoyed
you won.
it, and I won.
So you got passed by nobody.
Yes.
You're first out of the water. You won wire to wire.
Yeah.
That's a Lucy Charles type of thing.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Lucy Charles Barkley. Go off the front and just stay away all day long.
It's quite nice.
And then, so was 2022 Pyeongchang, South Korea?
Yes.
And you got 20th there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that was my first World Cup, and for the Olympics, you have to do World Cups or World Series to get the points to qualify and stuff. And I went over to Pyongyang in South Korea by myself, never done a World Cup, hadn't known what to do, didn't have any support or anything. And again, big learning curve, but I really enjoyed it. It was such a tough course.
Yeah.
And yeah.
You're racing the best.
Yeah, I had... Yeah, just girls there that hadn't raced before, and you know, I was a little South African, not really sure if I belonged.
Well, you know, it's cool too. Is I'm sure because you're so new at this, you don't even know who a lot of these women are, right? So it's not like, oh my God, there's Flora Duffy, there's so and so. You're like, I have no idea.
No, I mean, I think I've been fortunate enough, you know, throughout my career that I was Vicky Holland's training partner. Yes. I trained alongside with India Lee.
Yes.
I was one of the pacers at sub 8 for Kat.
Oh, did you really for Kat? I just chatted with Kat yesterday.
So that was amazing. You know, I've always kept meeting all these exceptional athletes. I met Flora Duffy out in South Africa, and I'm just, you know, they're such role models. And
well, you know what I love too is it's so a sport you're coming from, hundreds of seconds, tenths of seconds. It's hard to be buddies with people who are going to inch you out.
Yeah.
Where I think in our sport, people understand that if you're better on the day, you're going to be better on the day. And not being friends with you doesn't change any of that.
Yeah. I think it's definitely, you know, what I've found, triathlon's a much more friendly.
Way friendly.
Friendlier sport. And, you know, as well, when you're training with people, you know, you're spending almost like 30 hours with these people.
Yes.
So
they become like family.
Yeah, they do become like family. And, you know, that's really special as well. And then, I mean, it's great.
How fun. And so the goal is Paris.
Yes.
And so at this point, do you have a ranking in terms of South Africa?
So I don't know what my South African ranking is, but I know I'm, you know, there's like a simulation list that comes out with the start list, and I was on that at the end of last year. For the
start list for the Olympics already?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's sort of, you know, went from this dream to like, I mean, it's still a dream, but it's actually a realistic dream now.
Yes.
And this year I'm going to do the World Series circuit.
Yes. Any Super League as well?
I mean, I'd love to do Super League, but I don't know how to get into it. So yeah, it would be great to do. But yeah, World Series, World Cups and African Champs again, because that's a big one for us. And then hopefully Paris.
That's so cool.
So, yeah,
I love that. Yeah. And after watching this longer stuff, you've been out to a few of the 70.3s and watch them?
Yeah, I come with George.
Do you look at them and go, that is the silliest thing ever? Or do you look at them and go, well, after Paris, I might want to look at some of this stuff?
I think, you know, before George and I sort of got together and before meeting Kat and stuff, I thought it was mental and I'd never get into it. I was so in the like ITU bubble.
Yes.
And then slowly I've been like, oh, this is quite interesting. And I definitely want to do one after Paris. It's I'm very intrigued and I think I'd be quite good at it.
I think you'd be very good at it.
I'd love to compete against half these people that I've watched and stuff. So.
Sarah Jane, what a treat to get to meet you.
Thank you very much.
I love it. We met over a donut.
And a delicious one.
A delicious one of that. Yeah. Sarah Jane Walker has been our guest, everybody. Again, Breakfast with Bob from the beautiful Mission Pacific Hotel. Hold on. We will be right